Hi Stampers, it's Madeline from stampwithmadelyn.com, and today we are going to make this cute card, and I'm going to teach you how to do this by doing a masking technique. So I use the Beautiful You stamp set and the Mediterranean Moments stamp set, which both are continuing in the new annual catalog, so I'm so excited. The way I got this pretty lady to walk through the city is by doing a masking technique using a post-it note. So I am going to teach you how to do that today. So what you will need for this card is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of Whisper White cardstock. You will need just a little bit smaller. This is crumb cake cardstock. This is going to be 4 by 5.25. And then I just have some little pieces for the lady. This is 4 by 2.5. So 4 by 2.5 inches for the Whisper White. And then I have 2 1/4 by 3 3/4 for the crumb cake again. So we're just doing some layering to add some dimension to the card. Then I have some of our doilies. This is cut in half and then it's trimmed down a little bit because it's too big to fit on the card in a full circle like they come. So let's get started. First, what we're going to do is just getting the card base out of the way. So we're going to take that Whisper White cardstock and we're going to fold it in half. We're going to take that bigger piece of crumb cake, the 4 by 5.25. We're going to be using black Stays-On ink, and this is actually retiring, I saw, for the next annual catalog. So if you're interested in Stays-On, I would definitely get it now and stock up on it. I'm sure that you can get a different kind of permanent ink in the new catalog. So there's also Memento ink that is permanent. So we're going to use this Stays-On for the sentiment. So this is Happy Birthday Gorgeous. This is from the Beautiful You stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp it down here in the bottom. Okay. Then I'm just going to adhesive this onto our card base. That way we can get it out of the way and be not worrying about this part. So just center it on there. And then you're done with that, so you can set that aside. Next, we are going to be doing the actual technique. So first what you want to do is you want to take your Stays-On ink again, and you want to get your lady with her umbrella, and we're going to fully ink her up and get her stamped onto this crumb cake. So you can put her anywhere you want on here. I would center her to the left and just press on and hold. Make sure she completely transfers to the cardstock. There we go. Now, we are going to stamp her one more time on a post-it note and get her umbrella on the sticky part of the post-it note. Ooh, that's okay. Okay, so next, we are going to cut out this pretty lady on the post-it note. And here's the important part. You want to cut her out and do it almost directly on the lines that she's on. And you will see why. Okay, so we're cutting out this lady right on the line there. So just right above it, or right on the line, but just a little bit, you know, into the design is what you want to do. And you'll see why you do want to take the time to cut it out successfully, because you could use this for a while to come. And we're just going to stop at her foot. We don't need that excess there. Okay, so now we're going to lay this on our stamped design and get it right where we need it to be. And it has that sticky part on it, and that's where it will help, is here. We're going to take the biggest stamp from Mediterranean Moments of the city background, like of a sidewalk, and we're going to take our Stays-On and just ink this up really well. And it's such a big stamp, I like to ink it like this, just so that I know it gets every part of the stamp set. Okay, Once you have it fully inked, you want to go over this and get it even. Push down and just have it there for a few seconds just to make sure it gets nice and inked. Firm pressure on it. There we go. Now, here's the neat part, is that our lady is covered. So you can see on the Post-it note where all of this image from the stamp would have stamped through our lady. But look at that. Just a really neat tip and technique that you can use on any stamp set. And it really makes the person look like they are inside that stamp. I just think it creates like a really cool story even. And this Post-it note that you made, you could save it with the stamp set, which is what I do, and then I reuse it a bunch of times. So now you're all set. So look at that. She really looks like she is inside that stamp set. So make sure that you cover up your Stays On ink, because that does have a tendency of drying out very fast. Now, we are going to be using our watercolor pencils. Unfortunately, right now, these are on back order. But you can sign up on my store to get a notification when they're back in, and I recommend getting signed up because they are so nice. Okay, so with watercolor pencils, I am going to color white all over this image first. That way I get that real color that the pencil is trying to produce. If I colored pink onto this brown background, it would change the color. So I really want it to be that bright Calypso coral. So by evenly coloring this white on here, I'm able to get a nice crisp color from my Calypso coral pencil. So we're just coloring it in nice and thick on here, just so that when we go over it with the Calypso coral, it'll have that really nice bright color. All right, now we're going to go with the Calypso coral pencil. So we're just coloring over this, and you can tell it really has that nice bright color. But you will have to go over it pretty heavy, just so that you don't see any of the white sneaking in between it. This one needs to be sharpened. I'm going to do two colors on this lady. So her umbrella is going to be Calypso coral, but I'm going to pick a different color for her dress. So just coloring very heavy on this just to get that nice crisp image. I'm going to have her have the rich razzleberry dress. But look how clean and nice that color looks with that white underlay. There we go. Beautiful. So now we are going to use adhesive and put on the crumb cake here onto the Whisper White. And you just want to put it in the middle here, center it as best you can. Now, your doilies, this is where the doilies come into effect. You want to cut a doily in half that you're going to be using, and then we're going to trim it down even more than that. So we've cut it in half. One of these was trimmed and one of them wasn't, so we're going to make them even. You cut it in half, and then you're just going to trim it down, and I told my club you should trim it down about 1/4 inch. Then you want to kind of map these out where you want them. That one looks a little different. There we go. That one matches. You're going to map them out the way you want them and put on your lady just to see about, you know, how much you want left out. Then you're going to put adhesive. So I put it in the solid part of the doily just so it doesn't leak out of the sides here. You could use glue dots if you wanted to. It's totally up to you. I'm just lining these up as best I can. You're going to put adhesive on your Whisper White here. And then you're just going to line this up where you want it. There we go. Look at that. I just love this card. I love that she's walking through. So you could leave it uncolored if you wanted. I've made some where they weren't colored. I did one without a doily. So it's totally up to you what you want to do. Here's another one where I did the different doily. This was in our occasions where it was very vanilla on one side and Whisper White on the other. So you could do it that way. It's totally up to you, but the masking technique you can really use for any card. So I hope you liked this card. I loved making it for you. If you can give me a thumbs up if you liked it, don't forget to subscribe. And below you will see my blog link, which will have all the supplies that I used for this card. You'll also see my Facebook, my Pinterest. Just make sure that you're connected with me on all of those. And for now, keep stamping, Stampers. Bye.